Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is yet another vlog. I got a bunch of stuff I haven't shown you yet. DVDs, Blu-Rays, even got some soundtrack CDs. And I want to give you a little bit of a channel update in terms of what I have planned for the next week or so. So before I get into the update, I want to do a channel update for you guys, a different kind of update. So now that I've finished and completed my Fright Night Odyssey, I'm going to be going headfirst into a good number of requests that are due to donations to my PayPal. So the first review of this batch of requests is actually going to be for a film called Clueless. That'll be posted either after this video is up or around the same time. And after that, I'm going to be doing a series of other requests for another person. And that is going to be The Goonies, Teenage Bonnie and Klepto Hyde, Detroit Rock City, and trying to think of Killing Spree, directed by Tim Ritter, and then Scream Queen, the documentary that features Mark Patton from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. And after that, I am going to be doing one more request, which is a review and what honestly will be more of a rant on Atlantic Rim. I can even say the word Atlantic Rim. So that'll be the next one. And then I have some few random stuff that I'll throw in there. Reviews of The Invisible Man from 2020, as well as The Hunt, and another Tales from the Crypt season review. I also would like to do a video on season 1 of the 80s Twilight Zone. So there's maybe a couple mini rants in there, as well as another episode of the Lost Film Files. So that's the plan for the channel for the next week or so. So let's get into the update, shall we? So let's get started. I'm going to start out with some soundtrack CDs that I got from my local Goodwill. Two of these are ones that I've been trying to get my hands on for a long time, so I was super psyched when I found them, and they only cost me like a couple bucks each. The other one is a nice little bonus that I also don't mind for the price. So forgive the glare on these jewel cases. CDs tend to be really bad when it comes to my lighting setup. So anyway, here we have Batman, the original motion picture score from the 1989 film by Danny Elfman. One of my all-time favorite scores. Love this score. I actually heard a live orchestra play this at the Oregon Symphony while the film was playing. So it was really cool. It was a really unique, fun experience. Here we have Batman. And then, speaking of Batman, I also got Elfman's score for Batman Returns, which I also really enjoy. I really think this is a great score, too. It also has the Face to Face song by Susie and the Banshees. And then I also got Twister, the original motion picture soundtrack. This has Respect the Wind by Edward and Alex Van Halen, which I really like, the instrumental. And it also has Humans Being by Van Halen, one of my favorite songs by them. And it has a few other decent songs as well. But yeah, I thought, why not? I like the film and I like a couple tracks on it. So it'd be a good addition to my soundtrack collection. I'm trying to get more soundtrack CDs when I find them of films that I like and scores or soundtracks that I like. I mean, for instance, this is one of my all-time favorite soundtracks, Over the Top, and I got this a while back. I think I also got it at a thrift store. Really, really love this soundtrack. Well, I mean, the score is good too, but I really love the soundtrack for Over the Top. It's in my top 5 easily of favorite soundtracks. So next up, I'm gonna start with DVDs. Then I'm gonna get to some Blu-rays. I only got a couple 4K discs, so I'll show them randomly throughout. I'm gonna try to go through these as quickly as I possibly can, because I gotta be up early in the morning because I'm the opening cashier tomorrow at work. So, yeah. So anyway, got 13 Game of Death. This is a title that I got from a local thrift store. Looked like it might be interesting. We'll see. The Other Side of the Door. It was actually, I guess it was a film that was, I guess it says from the studio that brought you the Hills Have Eyes remake. Um, I think Alexander Aja, yeah, he's one of the producers, which is a pretty good sign. I haven't heard much about this one, but it looked interesting and only cost me like a couple bucks. 50 Dead Men Walking. Because the plot looked a little bit interesting, was only $1. I got it from my local record shop. The Independent, which actually looks like a fun satire of movies that I've never heard of, with Jerry Stiller and Janine Garofalo. Something called Dirt Boy I got because it was super cheap from the record shop, and the concept of the film looked a little interesting to me. It definitely does look like a really low budget production though, so I don't know. Something about like audiobooks and being used for a horror story, and them actually coming true in some capacity. I thought that was a little interesting. And the rest of these are a mix of no, these are the other titles that I got from the record shop. Boys in the Hood, because I actually have not seen this movie. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I decided to pick it up for the collection. For some reason, the Blu-ray has horrible cover art, and like the DVD has massively superior cover art for some reason. I don't understand why. Savages, because I actually like Oliver Stone, and I'm curious about this cast. And I remember seeing the trailer for this, and it definitely looks stylish at the very least. I got The Gift for the Sam Raimi collection. This is one of the film. I completely forgot he even did this movie. I completely forgot about this movie until I read about it in a Sam Raimi book that I bought and read recently. So yeah, glad to add that to the collection. And then I got a documentary called Supermensch, The Legend of Shep Gordon. It's actually directed by Mike Myers, and it also looked pretty interesting. Based on a true story, this real like independent film producer who managed to well, actually no, I don't think he's a film producer. Like he's just a producer who managed to like actually get involved with a lot of different popular artists and in the music industry and other places, and was, you know, a really famous big name. So it just looked pretty interesting to me, in terms of the subject material. The rest of these are titles I also got from a local thrift store once it reopened up. Serpico, because I did not have this one on for my collection, and I actually haven't seen it. I've heard a lot of really good things about it though. Dreams by Akira Kurosawa, because I mean, it's one of those films that actually I guess has like 8 parts to it. It's kind of an anthology, and Martin Scorsese plays himself in a segment as Vincent Van Gogh. So no, he doesn't play himself. He plays Vincent Van Gogh. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, let's. So it looked a little interesting. I like anthologies. By Dawn's Early Light. I think it's an HBO original movie. I think it aired on HBO back in the day. You've got Powers Booth, you got James Earl Jones, you got Martin Landau, you got a young Rebecca De Mornay. The plot involves a nightmare scenario in the Cold War with potential nuclear Armageddon. There were quite a few of those in the 80s, and if you look back at history, you can see why. That there was a lot of tension between the Soviet Union and the United States. So I also got Hollow Point with Donald Sutherland, John Lithgow, Thomas Ian Griffith, and Tia Carrera. I actually remember this being not that bad for a direct-to-video action movie. The final hit, uh, because it's actually directed by Burt Reynolds, and it's kind of it seemed like a interesting enough plot, similar to Get Shorty. But I saw the trailer for this after I bought this, and it honestly looks really bad. But I'll check it out sometime if I ever do a Burt Reynolds marathon. Speaking of Burt Reynolds, I did get another Burt Reynolds. I did get a couple more another Burt Reynolds movie, which actually I'm gonna go grab real quick, and you can see my Elvira shirt that I got recently. So yeah, there we go. Oh, and yeah, there's a couple more titles over here. Okay, good. I'm glad I did that because I forgot like a couple things. And there's Olympus. My guess is he's gonna go down and he's gonna get a couple more bites of his dinner. So, yeah. So yeah, the final hit, probably not that good, but for the Burt Reynolds collection, I figured why not. From the same thrift store, I got Breeders. I know this has a Blu-ray by Dark Force, but I've never seen the film. I've only seen the cover, and I actually have the VHS somewhere. And I remember not. I mean, I always thought it was a pretty cool looking monster, but I've never actually seen the film. And this showed up at the thrift store when I checked it out again when they reopened, and I was like, sure. I mean, why a couple bucks? Why not? Like for the longest time, this was actually way more than $2. But yeah, it's Breeders. It looks all right for a direct-to-video movie. That's the thing; it's a direct-to-video film, so I'm like, what? Really, what? How much of a difference is there going to be if I buy it on Blu-ray? Like I just wasn't really in a rush to do that. Then I got 52 Pickup. I've been trying to get this for forever. And what's crazy about this is the copy that I saw at buybacks, that the price is a little bit too much and I didn't want to pay it. And then buybacks goes out of business, and then I find this exact same copy that I had been passing on at my local thrift store for $2. So I was like, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was honestly that was one of my favorite finds that day. As well as Breeders, and this other one that's been on my wish list, The Taking of Pelham 123, the original with Walter Matthau, Robert Shaw, Hector Elizondo. So yeah, so that's a couple titles I got from the thrift store. This is a mix of different things: record shop and thrift store. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, the Kino Lorber DVD. For the Clint Eastwood collection. Film called Buffalo 66 with Vincent Gallo and Christina Ricci. Quirky, weird little indie movie. The plot made it sound kind of interesting to me about this, guy who gets out of prison and starts a deadly mission to hunt down and kill the Buffalo Bills kicker who botched a field goal that he believes ruined his life. So yeah, Scott Norwood, I guess, ruined this guy's life. But yeah, I don't know. It just looked kind of interesting to me. Got this for the Burt Reynolds collection, The Man Who Loved Women, with Julie Andrews, as well as a short-haired Kim Basinger. So yeah, The Man Who Loved Women. Horror Vision for the Full Moon collection. The Future of Horror, yeah, sure. I don't buy that. How many people have actually even heard of Horror Vision? A lot of people get it confused with Terror Vision, and I don't blame them. A Jack Nicholson flick I never heard of until I saw this DVD with Stephen Dorff and Jennifer Lopez. This actually came out, I think, in the early 2000s or late 90s. Yeah. No, yeah, late 90s. It came out in 1997. Blood and Wine. And then I got this for the Leslie Nielsen collection, 2001: A Space Travesty. I saw this on Comedy Central ages ago, and I just remember being in awe of just how fucking dumb and weird this movie was. And I also remember this having a just extended fart scene. Like all different kinds of farts. Wet, dry, every single fart you can imagine. And when I read that Leslie Nielsen for years would play around with this fart box on the set of his films, I just automatically was kind of reminded of this scene in this movie, and I was like, the reason why it's probably in there is because Leslie, he loved his fart jokes. So he might have been like, hey, I'm getting up there in age and I want to do the ultimate fart joke. I'm not super big on fart jokes, but I actually remember the fart joke in this because of how absurd and how many farts were in it. I actually remember chuckling at that. But yeah, I've heard this just as a travesty. But I like Leslie Nielsen, and I decided to pick it up for the collection. So I still have more DVDs, and I still have more Blu-rays. I'm not even we're not even close, folks. But that's the usual sort of deal with these kind of things. So these are all more stuff that I got from thrift stores and pawn shops and whatever. So I got The Forest. I like the concept. I know it's probably a failure in execution, but I was curious to see how much it failed, or if it could actually turn into a decent movie. Day of the Mummy. It's probably awful, but I don't know. It looked like it might be kind of fun in a dumb, fun way, especially if Danny Glover does more, but it looks like he probably won't. It's going to be more of William McNamara's movie. But yeah, that's probably going to be awful. But hey, if it's bad, at least it could it could at least lead to a fun rant. Treehouse. Never heard of this before until I picked this DVD up, and it looked kind of interesting. The Man of La Mancha, the film about Don Quixote. Bitch Slap, a film that apparently the title was censored when it later on in later releases. Like they censored the word bitch. I've heard this is pretty bad, but I don't know. I mean, I'll give it a shot someday. I mean, seems like it's a movie that's made by Spike TV. Like, back when Spike TV was like the channel for men. Dead Man with Johnny Depp. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it. A movie called Bad Reception, which has some really bad cover art. But I got it because the concept sounded intriguing to me, about this guy who finds this random TV and then it just starts ruining his life, and there's all this crazy shit that's going on, and it's probably fucking garbage, but I don't know. I like the idea behind it. Desperation with Stephen King, based on a Stephen King a short story or novel, directed by Mick Garris. Tidal Wave, because I don't know, I like disaster movies, and there aren't that many about tidal waves that I can think of, especially more modern films, and that's more of a modern foreign film. Five Girls with Ron Perlman. Now, the thing with Ron Perlman, he's probably barely going to be in the movie as usual and die, knowing these kind of movies. These were actually sent to me by Andrew. Thanks, Andrew. I believe he's a subscriber of mine. He messaged me on my Facebook about these, and I was like, sure, because he was getting rid of some movies and was wondering if I wanted any of them. So one of them is a film that I just got on Blu-ray, but it's one of those things where I didn't know and I just something happened where the Blu-ray was available for a cheap price, so I decided to take advantage of that. Um, but yeah, that title is Cruising with Al Pacino. The the movie where when I saw this cover, I mistakenly thought it starred Stallone for the longest time. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the way. Maybe it's just the way things are lit. And Pacino's like, for example, just take a look at the eyes. You know, they're kind of similar to Stallone's eyes. I don't know. I'm reaching here, but yeah, there's Cruising. Um, Sent me a Muck Train, which is really just Beyond the Door 3. Despite the fact that it makes it look like a really, really shitty direct-to-video sci-fi channel original movie with this title and this cover art. And it's not. And it's a Shriek Show release, so they usually do a really good job. And I wasn't really big enough on the film to buy the Blu-ray. And then we have this fucking movie, Gutter Balls. Matt, I got it. Do you want, Matt sent me a DVD-R of this a while back, but now I got the actual DVD with, the making of featurette and everything. The Balls Out Uncut version of Gutter Balls. The one thing that I've heard about this movie is that it's really gory, and there's a scene where a guy gets his dick cut lengthwise. That's all I've heard about. That's all I remember about that movie. And then he also sent me The Road to Wellville. Now this is getting a Blu-ray, I believe, by Shout Select. So this is no longer like the best way to see the film in the future because this is full screen and the Blu-ray is going to be in widescreen. But I saw this a while back and I was disappointed by it. I thought it was a little bit too relying on shit jokes and so on and so forth. But glad to have it for the collection, and this will be a fairly this will be one of the later reviews. Actually, I'll probably review this after Atlantic Rim because Andrew requested this one. Least I could do since he sent me the film on DVD. Still got more DVDs. Still got more Blu-rays. So I'm going to really try to push through some more because I don't know what's going on. Like, my voice is a little raw right now. But but here we go. These are ones I actually got for free because the guy I bought these from online, he forgot to send me a certain movie in Night of Olympus. So he was like, hey, I got some more DVDs that are still, available. Like, I'll make it up to you. I'll send you some for free. And I was like, sure. So these are free. So I'm not going to complain. Blood Glacier, a film called Last Shift, Soft Matter, and Psychos in Love, another Shriek Show release. That was actually his recommendation, Psychos in Love. Then I got Madhouse on DVD, with John Larroquette and Kirstie Alley. I like this movie. I don't love it, but I do like the film because I like John Larroquette and like Kirstie Alley. I like the concept of it. I like the zany, over-the-top moments. Yeah, it could be funnier. Could have used some better direction. But overall, I don't think it's that bad of a movie. And I definitely think it's a lot better than its reputation might suggest. Then I got the Chipmunk Adventure. This is actually out of print. So I got this at Goodwill. Not because I'm a huge Chipmunk fan, but because I knew this was out of print. So I was like, sure. Like, I'll snag that for $3. That goes for way more than that online. And then I also got Ocean's 8 because I like Sandra Bullock and I'm curious how much of a train wreck this really is. And Mile 22 because it was super cheap. Because I actually like Peter Berg as a director. I actually think he does a pretty decent job. I like him as an actor too, but he doesn't do as much of that anymore. So now we're getting to the Blu-rays. We're getting to a speed round. Dogma. This was one hell of a find. I found this at my local thrift store recently. $2. I paid $2 for this, and that is a steal because this is going for 60, 70 or more online. This actually was in one of those Blockbuster video cases, but it had the artwork, and I had a spare Blu-ray case, so I just slipped the artwork in there and the disc in, and it's in really good shape. So that was, honestly, this is one of the biggest steals that I've gotten on an out-of-print release in the last month or so. So yeah, Dogma on Blu-ray. I don't know why it's so out of print. My guess is rights with Lionsgate, or also it's considered a controversial movie. I don't know. Got the Babadook on Blu-ray because I only had it on DVD. I actually really like this movie. I got Turbo Kid because it was cheap and I knew it was out of print, and I'm curious about giving this another watch. I remember not really being that big on it, but I want to give it another chance. And it also has some making of stuff on there as well. Jawbreaker, which is going to be a film that I'm going to watch fairly soon, and I'm going to record a review for that you'll see way down the line. Pacific Heights for the Michael Keaton, not Michael Heaton, even though he is a pretty hot actor when it comes to the quality of his films. I'm talking about that particular aspect of him. So he's on fire when it comes to his track record, for me personally. One of my favorite actors. And this is one of his best roles. And one of my favorite films that he's done. And it really does look really good for a made-on-demand release by Sony. It's disappointing that there's no features, but, it is what it is. These are releases I got from the Bootleg Master. I still got more on the way, but I'm willing to wait for those releases. You'll see them when I get them. My Fellow Americans, because the DVD was in full screen, and I actually really like this movie. I think it's really a lot of fun. Richie Rich, because it doesn't have a Blu-ray release, and I also really enjoy Richie Rich. Osmosis Jones, he threw in there because it was a title that was part of a monthly thing. I'm not really that big on the movie, but then again, it's been forever since I've seen it. And it has some good visuals, so it'll probably look pretty good on Blu-ray. Dragon Slayer. Remember not being super big on this either, but I'm totally fine with having it on Blu-ray. These might be ones I've shown before in another video on my last update. If that's the case, I apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains with a very young Diane Lane, and Dead Alive on Blu-ray, which has the uncut version of the movie on it. Because I'm not going to wait for Peter Jackson to do his fucking take forever to do whatever he's going to do. So, got these for the Scream Factory collection, Bubba Hotep, and Army of Darkness, because I only had 2 out of the 3 discs and I didn't have the case. So that's pretty groovy. These are all Arrow Video releases that I've got from the Arrow sale, directly from Arrow and also from Zavi. I have a couple more I'm waiting for in the mail from the Zavi sale. Matinee, because I've actually never seen it, and it looks like it might be fun, by Joe Dante. Trapped Alive. Through these sales, I've been able to honestly nearly complete my Arrow Video collection. I'm actually planning on doing an Arrow Video collection video once I get some more titles in the mail. FM, White of the Eye with David Keith and Kathy Moriarty. Porky's, Crimes of Passion with Ken Russell and Kathleen Turner, Anthony Perkins. Zardoz, this fucking movie where the penis is evil. That movie's so fucking dumb and weird, and I'm curious to see what Friedkin has to say about it in interviews or commentary. Thief with James Caan, Miracle Mile with Anthony Edwards and Mari Winningham, Cruising, like I said, with Al Pacino, directed by William Friedkin. So that's the Arrow releases, and couple 4Ks. Kino Lorber's lone 4K release of Hannibal. I guess it didn't sell as well as they would have liked, so they just stopped. They're not going to do 4K anymore, which is disappointing. But I'm glad to have this because, yeah, I think it'll look pretty good. And I didn't have Hannibal on Blu-ray or DVD or 4K at all. And then I also got Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the 4K release, because this film is stunning, and I think it'll look even more stunning in 4K. And I've actually heard some really good things about that release. Speaking of Kino, I got a whole bunch of more that I'm going to show you. This I got from a seller online. The Phantom on Blu-ray, finally. I've been trying to get my hands on this Blu-ray for the longest time, and what's funny is as soon as I got this, Paramount announced that they were doing another release, but it's bare bones, just like this release, and I think it's just the same transfer. So, you know, it's not too big of a miss on my part. Plus, I got a good deal because I've got this, the Lionsgate release, and then I also got Hard Rain, and I haven't heard anything about Paramount re-releasing this. So the Phantom and Hard Rain, 2 out of print Blu-rays. Yeah, these are the Kino releases that I got from recent Kino sales. And yeah, I don't think I'm waiting on another. Actually, no, I actually am, because Kino's had like crazy sales lately, so I'm actually waiting on another Kino order. But this is another company that I'm really close to completing the collection of titles that I want or could even care about. So we got Fist. I had their DVD, but I wanted the Blu-ray because I actually think this is an underrated drama, and wanted to get it on Blu-ray for the Stallone collection. Making Contact, because I only had it on DVD, thanks to a good friend of mine, Jonathan. But I'm going to keep that DVD because it has a different version of the movie. Cadillac Man with Robin Williams for the Robin Williams collection. Disorganized Crime. Looked like it might be kind of fun due to the cast. Lou Diamond Phillips, a whole bunch of other people. Freeway with James Russo, Billy Drago. Modern Girls, because you got Virginia Madsen, Daphne Zuniga, and Clayton Rohner. I like Clayton Rohner and Daphne, so I'm curious to see what they have to bring to the film. American Dreamer, Jo Beth Williams. Really like Jo Beth Williams from Poltergeist and everything, so excited to get that. Phantom of the Opera, the Lon Chaney film. Really like this film. I'm wanting to get this on Blu-ray for a while. Forgive me, I'm going to hit this bottle of water again. All right. Highway to Hell with Hell Cop. This is a little disappointing to me, but I wanted to get this because it has an interview with Steve Johnson, commentary with the director, and I actually remember it being decent, but I just think it could have been a lot better. Stone Cold Dead, a film with Richard Crenna that I've never heard of. It also has Paul Williams in it. Looked not a little interesting. It looked really interesting. Narrow Margin with Gene Hackman and Ann Archer. Really love this thriller, so I'm really glad this got a release. This is actually a fairly new release by Kino as well. And another new release they did is Space Invaders, and this has a ton of features, so if you're a fan of this movie, this is the definitive release of the film to get. And I highly recommend taking part in these Kino Lorber sales when they have them, because they usually have a lot of like even fairly new releases on sale, discounted, marked up for way cheaper prices than even on Amazon. These are two more titles that were sent to me by Andrew. Santa Sangre from Severin. I also bought this again because it was, pretty cheap in the Severin sale. But I'll probably either sell it or donate it to a friend of mine or something. Because I'll just keep this one. That's another order I'm waiting for is a Severin order. I made a pretty substantial one too. Diabolique, Criterion Blu-ray. Talladega Nights: The Ballad of Ricky Bobby on Blu-ray, because I honestly love this movie. This is one of my favorite comedies. I really enjoy this movie. I think it's an absolute riot. The Big Hit, when Marky Mark and his Funky Bunch were actually tolerable and pretty decent. Beer League, another film I really enjoy. I think this is it's crass, it's tasteless, but it's hilarious to me, and it's funny, and it's really entertaining. I really love Artie Lang and Ralph Macchio in this. I think they have great chemistry, and so does the rest of the cast. It's just a really fun, dumb comedy, sports comedy. Excess Baggage with Alicia Silverstone. These are the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films, because I didn't have them on Blu-ray, and I would like to do another Star Trek reviews again, because the ones I did were so long ago, and they were the multi-part ones, and I definitely want to do Star Trek reviews again sometime. So this is the 3-disc version of the first Abrams Star Trek film. Then we have Star Trek Into Darkness, which I actually remember not minding, and Star Trek Beyond, which I actually saw in the theater, and I remember being pretty underwhelmed by it. But yeah, that's Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams trilogy. So, got those. Double feature of Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men. These are some really classic, hilarious comedies. I grew up watching them. Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau are quite a pair in this, and it's really a shame that you don't have special editions of these, and I get it, because you can't really have new interviews with any of the main cast. But it also was a real shame that when these were initially released, they never were released on DVD and widescreen. So the only way to see them on widescreen is on this Blu-ray. But yeah, really, really love those movies. Those are quite a lot of fun. Then I got a couple 101 Films releases. Split Second. This is I'm so glad to see Split Second actually get a legitimate release. Now keep in mind, 101 Films are releases that are region B, so they're going to be region locked. If you do not have a region free player, you're not going to be able to watch them. And with Split Second, MVD is doing a release for U.S. markets. So if you're not region free, or even if you are and you just prefer to have the U.S. version, MVD is doing theirs. But I personally I like the slipcase and the cover art for this version better. I think it fits the dark tone of the film really well. And this also comes with a booklet that's exclusive to this particular release. And it's got some interviews and some behind the scenes stuff, and it's honestly really cool. So it's about damn time that this film gets a quality release on Blu-ray. That isn't just some kind of half-ass release from Germany, from Oliver Krekel. But yeah, this has a good amount of interviews and stuff. No interviews with Rutger, but they tried, the people who were doing the features, but Rutger was not doing well health-wise, so they were not able to get him. But that's Split Second. And this is another release from 101 Films, The New Kids. I think this is an incredibly underrated movie, and I was really psyched to see that they were doing one of these black label releases for this film. This has extras that are included nowhere else, because this does not have another release other than the bare bones release by Mill Creek. So this has an interview with the writer, it's a commentary with a couple film critics, and it has an interview with the director, Sean S. Cunningham. So I thought that was really, I'm looking forward to checking out those interviews. The commentary I really don't care that much about, but then it also came with an exclusive booklet with some more essays and interviews and stuff like that. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I really am looking forward to revisiting it one of these days. So yeah, The New Kids. Then I got a couple more Arrow releases. These were from MVD's Arrow sale. Well, it wasn't really an Arrow sale, it was just a sale, period. And these were really cheap. Fish Called Wanda, hilarious comedy. One of my favorites. Ronin with Robert De Niro, directed by John Frankenheimer. Getting to the bottom of the stack here. So here we have the Wishmaster collection by Vestron. Did not have any of these movies on Blu-ray. Now, to be fair, Wishmaster 3 and 4, I remember sucking, but I don't mind. I like the first film actually quite a bit for what it is, and the second movie I remember not minding, but the third and the fourth films are pretty shitty. But it's a package deal, and it was a pretty good deal on Amazon. And yes, it came with the slip, but honestly, I don't care if it has the slip or not. I care more about the discs. Here we have Anchorman 1 and 2, the Steelbook, because I got it as a part of a lot. I'm curious about these movies. I heard a lot of good things about them. I've heard they're hilarious, and I love the cast. And yeah, I've actually never seen the Anchorman films. I've seen clips, and I've heard about them, but I've never seen them. So I wanted to get my hands on both of the films for the collection. Criterion release of Sisters, a film I'm really curious about by Brian De Palma that features Margot Kidder in a dual role playing twin sisters. This is one of my most anticipated and also most wanted Criterion releases, so I got this and Sisters in the recent sale on Barnes & Noble. The Silence of the Lambs, the Criterion release. Gorgeous set. The film looks absolutely stunning. One complaint I have, though, is that instead of it having another like plastic hard case that goes into this slip, it's one of those hard cardboard ones. And yeah, it does look pretty nice, but you have this booklet, this heavy, thick booklet that just sits in there and is continually going to rub against the discs. Now, to be fair, it's not rubbing against the back of the disc, which is the most important thing. But you never really know. But overall, still a really nice presentation. But the thick booklet, I think they should have made this slipcase a little bit bigger so you could slide the booklet in alongside with the slip. Well, I mean not the slip, the case that holds the discs. And then this is just a little bit of randomness to round things up. So we have The Man Who Killed Hitler, and then Bigfoot. Got this at Walmart because I'm curious about it. Looked interesting, and I like Sam Elliott. Goes to Mars. This is a Mill Creek release, but they're getting better. And I did not have this on Blu-ray. And the other release I was interested in from Indicator is like way out of print and incredibly expensive. I think it was Indicator. And this ports over features from the previous releases. So I wanted to get this for the John Carpenter collection. And then I got Red Dragon, because why not, for the Hannibal Lecter Blu-ray collection that I've put together recently. And then I got this, the Steelbook of Sleepy Hollow. I got this at FYE. It was on discount. No new features or anything, but I do really like this cover art. It's a really nice looking steelbook. And a friend of mine recently asked me, hey, if longtime friend and longtime subscriber, he asked me if I would review this sometime, and I'm gonna save this for reviewing it sometime in October because I think it's a really good time to do a review of Sleepy Hollow. But anyway, that is it. That is it for this particular update video, and hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you later.